In this video, I'm going to talk about flipped learning in a math class and how the flipped model opened doors for differentiation. So, differentiated instruction simply means you're providing different avenues for learning, processing, and assessing. So, it's all about offering variety and giving students choice. And the flipped model allowed me to do that with my students. So, because I no longer use class time for lecture, it opened so many doors for what I use class time for. And the things to consider is that different students work at different paces, different students have different preferences, and different students will require different kinds of assistance. So, I will show you how I give students a variety of requirements and learning opportunities and give students choice for how they use class time. So first, differentiated instruction and just how I deliver my content. So it's a flipped model, so as you can guess, there's going to be videos. So here's where I share my videos with my students. All the different topics, they are given all of the videos at once, access to all of them at once. So giving them the videos alone allows for differentiated instruction because students can watch it at their own pace. They can rewind, they can pause, they can even fast forward, come back to it. I have some students that will watch the same video 3 times. And then I have some students that might move at a quicker pace and watch, a couple videos, get ahead of my pacing. So they get to choose I set the pace, but they get to also have some input on how quickly they learn the material. I don't rely solely on the videos. In class we also offer class discussion. It's not a full lecture, but it's more of a class discussion. So as you can see, it's just a little PowerPoint, where we discuss slope. Because I know some students benefit from that full class interaction to learn the content. And I also want you to consider during class time, students are working, and I have some students that are working individually, some are in small groups, and what I'm doing is I'm walking around giving assistance. So if a student didn't understand the video, another way they can learn the content is simply getting one-on-one attention from me, in which I'm reteaching the video lecture to them one-on-one. I'm giving them assistance on their assignment, I can re-explain directions, and I can even make modifications and accommodations based on their ability if needed. And another way is just small groups. Either I can work with small groups, or I love seeing just students in their own small groups and they're kind of helping each other, student collaboration. So they can still get that one-on-one attention, but they might get it from another student and not necessarily always me. Alright, so now let's consider the variety in which students can process the content. So I talked about the variety and differentiation and how the content's delivered, and now here's how students process it. So here's just an example of, it's a traditional math assignment, but they are given, their entire packet for the whole unit. And I kind of set the pace for where they need to be at certain days, but it does allow for some students to move ahead and, if needed, to skip around or get assistance from me. So, traditional assignment, just like you would expect in a math class. But also, the flipped model has opened so many doors. I mean, it has given me so much more class time that I can do more valuable learning experiences for my students. So here's just an example of a cooperative learning activity. These would be like separate cards. Here I have a linear equation and then a table that represents that equation and a graph. And I have a bunch of them. And I would cut them out and mix them all up, and students could then work in groups and try to pair them up. So students are collaborating, they're kind of playing a matching game. If we're up for it, we might even have a competition on which group can get it done the quickest. So it just changes it up so it's not always a traditional worksheet, because I have more time for fun things that allow for students to collaborate and work together to learn the content. Another very engaging way for students to Process the content is a fun game, and we love to play Kahoot. Students are given a question, and on their iPads, they're going to answer what the question is. So I can answer, and I'll get results. So normally, I'd have a full classroom, and I can see, majority of students got it right, or a lot of students got it wrong, and we can have an open discussion right there on the spot, just from this really fun game. And the students love it. It's very engaging, and it really opens doors for tons of discussion, and I get immediate feedback and assessment, and I always find that students learn so much from playing this game. So just another way to have variety in your classroom. Alright, so I've talked about how I offer a lot of variety in how students learn the information, and variety in how students process all of the content. So I'm going to talk about how I offer choice. So, every day is different, but often I have like choice days where students get to kind of choose how they use their class time. They get to take control of their learning, decide, okay, what can I work on in class that will benefit me, and what can I work on at home? What would benefit me to ask questions with the teacher or work in small groups, and what would I like to do individually at home? So offering choices. So starting out on choice day, often we have our traditional assignment that they need to keep up with. But on top of that, I have a lot of online assessments. So I've got that quizzes. This is just kind of a little quiz site where they are assigned them per unit, and they have to complete, and they get immediate feedback. And there's lots of different ways, lots of different questions. They get immediate feedback, and I also get feedback to see how students are doing. So they could work on an assignment. They could work on that quizzes. We have a program, free program called Front Row, where they would have to take a diagnostic test, and then it is, accommodates to them where they are and offers them practice problems based on where they are at. Another program that I love is Khan Academy. You can assign challenges. I teach 8th grade, so I can assign the 8th grade challenge. And they've got mastery challenges, they have videos, they have practice problems. So here's a practice problem, and they also get immediate feedback. They don't understand something, they can get hints, they can watch videos on that content. So offering choice. They all have kind of different requirements, and the students know when certain things are due and what's required when, but they're kind of given choice on what they work on in class. If they know, I really need help on that quiz, so I'm going to work on that quizzes in class so I can ask for help, and I'll do my assignment at home. Or vice versa. I really like to do my assignments with my friends. I like to collaborate with them, and I like to do that quizzes at home in my room where I can just listen to music and do that quizzes. I also always try to have a project, some sort of project going on in the unit. So here's a project. They all straight lines, and each line has a different linear equation. So throughout the unit, I just have all of these things going on. Assignments, online programs, and some sort of project, and students are given choice on how they use their class time, what they work on, and when, knowing, it's all due at the end of the unit. I kind of give them a guide, kind of the pacing guide, but I allow for variability for some students to move ahead, some students, if they get behind because they need me to sit with them, help them organize, kind of reteach, re-explain some things. So this is all just a big reminder that, when you decide to flip your classroom, it's more than just making videos. Making videos is the start. And then a flipped learning model is really, what do you do with your classroom after you've made these videos? Because making the videos opens doors. It gives you more class time to do the things that you've wanted to do. It gives you the opportunity to give one-on-one instruction. It gives you opportunities to do cooperative learning and fun games, and to give students choices with lots of online programs while still keeping up with, the traditional math class. So this is how my flipped learning model has turned into differentiation. It was something I always wanted, strive for, and it was always so difficult to do But now with the flipped learning model, I can finally provide variety and choices for my students.